What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Kellycast. It is, of course, NFL draft season. With that, we have the Kellycast draft expert, the first ever honorary Kelly, the champion of the 2023 Kellycast predictions. You're just winning at life, man. Mitch Smith.
Thank you, Dan, for welcoming me back, and happy Mania weekend to you.
Happy Mania weekend, guys. It is currently April 6th as we record this WrestleMania 2-day event. It's a big thing in our house. Easter might be big for you, WrestleMania big for us, right?
Absolutely.
It's going to be exciting, but some news broke earlier this week, Mitch, that maybe didn't have us as excited. That being the Stefon Diggs trade. Obviously, you haven't seen it. Stefon Diggs was traded to the Houston Texans along with a fifth. Was it a fifth this year and a sixth next year?
So it was a fifth this year and a sixth this year. It could be vice versa, but I don't.
Yeah, it was one next year, one this year. 2 late picks, and they get a second round pick that belongs to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, people were talking about how the Bills got destroyed in this trade, and then the next day, Mitch, it came out with the report that the Houston Texans wiped out the final 3 years of Stefon Diggs' contract, and he will be a free agent after this year. So, from the outside looking in, I'm not saying the Bills won, but it looks a lot more stupid on Houston's part to trade a second-round pick for a 1-year rental of a 30-year-old wide receiver. I love Diggs. I do. I love everything he did for us. If you want my full thoughts on it, you can go to the Kellycast on Facebook and see my post thanking Stefon Diggs and telling you guys what it will mean to the Bills. But, Mitch, I haven't had your post, your thoughts. So I'm going to give you the floor here to talk about how you felt or how you feel now that Stefon Diggs is gone.
Yeah, well, when I first heard of it, it took a lot to process in the beginning because at first when he got traded to here, I was very happy because they finally got a first wide receiver, a number 1 wide receiver in a long time. We never had that since probably Andre Reed. I mean, you could call Chad Johnson, Stevie Johnson, whatever.
There you go.
Stevie Johnson as a number 1, but
Stevie was a number 1. 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah,
he was good. And we had Sammy for the 1 year that he was really good. But I know what you mean. We hadn't had that established piece on offense, and we got him, and it felt so good. And the Bills got so close each and every year. The problem, Mitch, especially now, and I heard this on Pat McAfee yesterday.
Yeah.
With the market going the way it's going, you're going to see this more and more.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is due for a contract extension. Guess who else is? Jamar Chase.
Chase.
Can you pay both of them?
Nope.
Probably not. Jamar Chase might end up being traded in the near future. Justin Jefferson might end up being traded in the near future. And it's wild. It's wild to break up these duos that work. But the NFL is a business at the end of the day. And, you know, as much of a Diggs fan as I was and as I still am to a point, I'm a bigger Bills fan.
Yeah.
And you know, the sun's going to come out tomorrow. Yes, I'm worried right now, but I do think Brandon Beane has a plan in place to move forward. Yeah. They signed La'el Collins. Now, I liked it at first.
Yeah.
And then I saw the contract details, and I did not like it as much, Mitch. $6.5 million for 1 year of La'el Collins.
Yeah, it'd be a swing tackle.
I don't know if I like that as our third tackle. I don't know if he's going to make the team. You know, it's obviously early here. April 6th, we are 19 days away from the NFL draft.
Yep.
April 25th, the first night on Thursday, will be round 1. Round 2 and 3 will take place on Friday, and 4 through 7 on Saturday. You know, Mitch will be watching probably all of those days if he's able to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
With that, today, April 6th, we want to bring you guys our second mock draft. The first time we only went over the top 10, so today we're going to go over picks 1 through 15 with you, kind of swapping here and going back and forth. Some of them we'll agree on, some of them we'll disagree, but you know that's what the Kellycast is all about. It's okay to disagree as long as things make sense, right?
Yep.
I think last year, Mitch, during the whole draft process, you had a tough go. You got some positions right but not the players. So I'm looking forward to see what you're having this year and going back after the draft. We're gonna have to do a video on that after the draft to see how many you got right or I got right or whoever, and go back into that. But let's kick things off. No further ado. The first overall pick belongs to the Chicago Bears, and I'll let you take us away here.
So it shouldn't be a shocker for Bears fans out there and to everybody and their mother and their dog and their father that Chicago is going to be selecting Caleb Williams #1 overall. This has not changed from my last mock draft. It still won't change to the last week before the coming NFL draft.
So, question, Mitch. The last time we did this top 10, Justin Fields was still on the Bears roster, if you remember correctly. And you and me had a long conversation regarding, was it right to go Caleb or was it right to give Fields another chance? Fields is gone. So this is happening. Caleb Williams to the Bears is for sure happening. At number 2, the Washington Commanders own that pick. And I think it's going to be a quarterback. You have Jaden Daniels here from LSU. I think this is a possible Drake May landing spot for me. So I'm going to take Drake May, quarterback North Carolina here for the Washington Commanders. I just think he's a better fit for that offense than Jaden Daniels is. I think a lot of NFL scouts have been higher on May than Daniels. If I'm not mistaken, you can correct me here. I've heard more hype about May being like pro ready and Daniels kind of being like a wild card kind of guy. Is that true?
Yeah. So the reason why I went Daniels for Washington here is that I've read a lot of reports about May and Daniels potentially being number 2.
Okay.
So the reason why I have Daniels going here instead of May is because I heard the Washington GM really likes Daniels a lot.
Well, you got to remember, Mitch, during draft season, it is smokescreen season. And NFL GMs do not want you to know who they have on their board. They do not want you to know who they're going to select. It is supposed to be a secret. That's where the Bills have done it all wrong. Because everyone and their mother and your dog, your new dog, congratulations.
Thank you.
Knows that the Bills need a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being the case, it is a lot harder to trade up. It is a lot harder to convince a team that, hey, you should give this to us. Help us.
So at number 3, I have the New England Patriots selecting Drake May. So now the reason why I have Drake May going here is because obviously Daniels went. So New England's left with one option, honestly, in my opinion, at number 3 overall. Or 2 if they decide to trade down. May is on the board, and we all know this, that New England needs a quarterback. They got rid of Mac Jones. They're going quarterback. They might not. They might have a guy sit behind Jacoby Brissett because they said Jacoby Brissett is reliable. And you would take Drake May here to have him sit behind Brissett just for a little bit.
Okay.
He's going to be pro ready. And yes, I think he's pro ready next to Caleb. And I feel like New England, that's their quarterback type of style.
Okay.
He's big.
Do you think that's a steal if Drake May falls to 3, if Jaden Daniels goes 2? Do you think Drake May is better than Jaden Daniels?
Yes. So,
okay.
I said,
in terms of your mock draft, it's not always, hey, this is the best player, but it's kind of the best fit and things like that.
And that's why I went Daniels at 2.
Okay.
Because I feel like the fit for Washington is what Jaden Daniels is in a quarterback for what Washington's doing.
Okay. We're back on track here. So all the players that have been selected have been at least the same or similar. So we're back to where our prospects are at the correct order. Number 4 belongs to the Arizona Cardinals.
Ring, 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 ring.
Hello?
This is the Minnesota Vikings calling, and we are looking to trade up. How about number 11 and number 23 and a 5th rounder this year and a 3rd rounder next year to move up to number 4?
That's a lot to give up. I mean, you must want somebody really good here. Tell you what, make that 5th a 4th, and you got a deal.
You have yourself a deal, sir.
The number 4 pick now belongs to the Minnesota Vikings.
And for the first time in NFL history, there's going to be 4 quarterbacks selected here. And I have
consecutively
going J.J. McCarthy, quarterback out of Michigan. Now
and this is Jim Harbaugh's favorite quarterback in the draft class for one obvious reason.
Yep. So the reason why JJ is making his top 10 appearance, the reason why JJ is making his first time ever in this mock draft for me, because I didn't have him going for a while in my last one. He's making his appearance in the top 10, not only in the top 10, in the top 5, folks.
That's a big jump. Tell me how he did this. How is he now considered a top 5 pick?
Now, this is considered, like you said, smoke season for the NFL teams. And they are considering J.J. McCarthy to be a high, fast riser in this draft. Okay. He apparently worked good out in his pro day, and it's what GMs were looking for. And
I will say, Mitch, when it comes to pro days for quarterbacks, most of them work out well.
Yeah.
Most of them do. The only last name I've ever seen do bad at the Combine, Mitch, is Tagovailoa. Tua did bad, and his brother did bad. Those are the 2 names that I've heard have done, not great at their pro days. But pro days, if you're an NFL caliber quarterback, there's no defense there, and you're just proving that you can make the throws. And obviously, a lot of these guys can make the throws. But let's move on here because we got a lot of picks to get into. Number 5 belongs to the Los Angeles Chargers, and since we kind of just did a trade, I think we're just going to swap here. So I'm going to take some odds, you're going to take some evens, unless another trade comes up, okay?
Yep.
So I am having the Los Angeles Chargers select Brock Bowers, tight end out of Georgia. Now, the Chargers, they have an okay tight end, but Bowers is way more than that. He's a humongous weapon. Reminds me of like a Kyle Pitts kind of guy who is more of a wide receiver than a tight end, like at the end of the day. And he gives you excellent run after the catch ability. And the Chargers do need a receiver, so I could definitely see a receiver possibility. But with where they're at, right? With where they're at in terms of the what they had to do, right, this offseason.
Yeah.
Trading Keenan Allen away, releasing Mike Williams, having to rework Khalil Mack's contract because Joey Bosa is very stingy about his money. And we knew that when he was a rookie. Remember that.
Yep.
Remember that.
His brother too.
Yeah, Bosa's. I think this is a possible trading down pick here. I don't know who would be willing to move up to 5 because it's going to cost a lot. But the Chargers, to me, what they were missing more than anything was a coach. And I think a lot of people saw that last year, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent on the Chargers. There was. They lost Eckler, too, so they kind of need to get something done there. But I think this is a very possible scenario for them to trade down. I would need to look a little deeper at Jim Harbaugh's draft history with the San Francisco 49ers to be able to confirm that. But I'm going to go Brock Bowers here at 5. So 6 belongs to you with the New York Giants.
So at number 6, I have the Giants going Malik Neighbors. So why I have Malik Neighbors going at number 6 is that...
Hold up. Because we kind of switched to where this draft is 1 draft instead of 2. Do you think Neighbors is going to go over Harrison? Or do you think if Harrison is there right now that the Giants take him?
Oh, you have a good point. Thank you. So in my mock, I have Neighbors. So in this scenario right here.
Yeah, we're going to go with our scenario here. We're not going to go exactly based off of this because you and me are both working on this together. So we'll do it that way.
We'll do it this way. So at 6, I have Marvin Harrison Jr. going to the Giants.
Okay.
So now Marvin Harrison, obviously the best wide receiver coming out.
Can he make Daniel Jones look good again?
Probably not, Dan. But Marvin Harrison, obviously, we all know his dad. He does it probably the same amount as he probably does the same thing as his dad.
Well, let's pump the brakes here. He's about to be a rookie. We've seen rookies struggle. We've seen rookies shine. He has the tools. MHJ has the tools. But if you're in the wrong situation, it doesn't always work out. The first guy I think of, Mitch, is DeAndre Hopkins.
Wrong
A
situation.
guy who had all the talent in the world, was a top receiver in the league for a decade, and has nothing to show for it because he was drafted by the Houston Texans, and then he was traded around a couple times. Cardinals didn't work out. Titans didn't work out. You have to make sure it's the right situation. And I don't know if the Giants is the right situation for MHJ, but that's what happens here. So only one receiver gone, and we're now moving on to pick number 7, which belongs to the Tennessee Titans. And I think you got it right here. It's going to be Joe Alt, the offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. If it's Alt or if it's somebody else on the offensive line, I'm not going to be surprised because they had one of the worst lines in football. And now they bring in Tony Pollard. This isn't Derrick Henry. He's not going to break every tackle. He's not going to make that line look even semi-decent. So I think they definitely are going to address the offensive line here.
Yep. So at number 8, I have the Atlanta Falcons going the first defender off the board, and that is Dallas Turner.
I think this is another possible trading down scenario.
It very well could be for Atlanta because
the Falcons did so much in the offseason, not only with Kirk Cousins, but they got Rondale Moore. They traded for
and
they traded for Rondale Moore, who has a very high ceiling, and just with a new quarterback in town, I think the Falcons are going to be a lot better than what they were.
And they got Mooney.
Yes.
And they got Mooney.
So I think this is a possible trading down scenario. You're going the first defender here. Tell me why.
So the reason why I have the first defender going here is because Atlanta's defensive line is probably the worst I've seen. They need help off the edge really badly. They can't have Grady Jarrett do it all. He is not getting any younger. Mm-hmm. He is not the top talented defensive tackle. He's probably the best in the league since Aaron Donald probably left and he retired. So it just makes sense to me because to build that defense, to have a cornerstone like the Texans did last year with Will Anderson, start from the trenches.
Okay.
Build from the trenches and go from there. But
I don't know if Dallas Turner's going to play on the edge or if he's going to play defensive tackle here coming into the NFL. I guess it depends on how he weighs in and how he plays at certain positions. Maybe he is the Aaron Donald type who plays both inside and out.
I think he's going to need to be an edge.
Okay.
I think he's going to be in the edge.
Interesting stuff. Number 9 belongs to the Chicago Bears, but I think my phone might be ringing.
Ring, 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 ring.
This is the Chicago Bears.
This is Brandon Beane calling from the Buffalo Bills.
We're not interested.
Ring, 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 ring.
Beep, boop, 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 beep.
Hello?
Ring, ring. Hello. This is the Chicago Bears. Who's this?
This is the Buffalo Bills calling.
I thought we just talked.
No. I have a deal for you.
Deal, you say?
Yes.
Well, we are missing some draft picks due to some trades, so let's hear it.
So, the Buffalo Bills are willing to offer the Chicago Bears, number 28, a first-rounder next year, a 4 and a 5, and a second-round pick next year to move up to your spot.
I don't know, man. We need this wide receiver here. Moving from 9 to 28. That's a long way down. A long way down. I'm gonna decline your offer, Brandon Beane, but thank you very much. Okay. With the 9th pick, the Chicago Bears are going to select Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver out of LSU. That's now 2 wide receivers off the board. So the reason I declined your trade, Mitch, I think from Buffalo's standpoint, it was too much to give up. I don't like throwing, and we talked about this off screen. I don't like throwing in a second on top of 2 firsts. I think that's too much. Yeah, I get it. It's a lot to move up, but I just don't think it would be worth it for Buffalo because you gotta look at it from Buffalo's viewpoint, right? The Bills, what team do they look at the most when they study success in the NFL right now?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs. What did the Kansas City Chiefs do 2 years ago? They traded away Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins. Why? Because they didn't have the money to pay him, right? And everybody thought, oh, great, this is awesome. We're going to see Kansas City not be as good. But guess what? Patrick Mahomes disguised the weaknesses, at least when he could, right? When his wide receivers weren't flat out dropping the ball. He made stars out of players that aren't good. And that's what the Bills want from Josh Allen right now. That's what the Bills are expecting from Josh Allen. So I think it was too much to give up for Buffalo. Neighbors off the board at number 9. 10 belongs to you with the New York Jets.
So with the 10th pick from the New York Jets, I have them selecting Talise Fuaga, the offensive tackle out of Oregon State. We all know that they tried to fix the offensive line in the offseason, which they did, I think, a little bit.
I got a question here.
Yes.
Just a curiosity one. In this mock draft, I see Fashanu at 14. Last time I believe he was top 10. What happened?
The scheme fit, honestly, in my opinion.
Okay.
We'll get to
Fashanu later.
We'll give it to Fashanu later.
Okay.
There's a reasoning behind everything, and the reason why I have Talise Fuaga going here is because he can play the tackle spot that they're kind of missing. They do not have Mekhi Becton, right? Still?
Yep, Mekhi Becton, I believe, is still a free agent. I'm not 100% sure. I'll check on that after.
They fixed it with the 2 tackle spots, but only 1-year rentals, if I'm not mistaken.
Plus, they still had a bad offensive line last year.
And they still
Aaron
had
Rodgers got hurt in 4 snaps.
Talise Fuaga is your staple point at either tackle spot.
Okay.
I believe he's mainly...
They have one at left. I think they need help at right tackle.
Yeah, so he's mainly right, so this is good.
Which is usually what happens with a rookie anyway. Rookies usually come in and kind of start at right tackle. Unless you're the best of the best,
Yep.
You can play left right away.
So Talise gives you that flexibility at right. He gives you that anchor. He gives you that he's not going to let up easily. So it's not a sexy pick, but it's the right pick for the Jets, and I believe that's where they're going to go.
So 11 belongs to the Arizona Cardinals after a trade with the Minnesota Vikings to move down. And I'm going to switch things up here a little bit, and I'm going to go Kenyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo. I think Arizona needs help in the secondary. Budda Baker doesn't want to be there. I don't even know if he's still there right now. And in actuality, I think he is. But they struggle on defense. So no matter who this is, if it's Jared Verse like you have, or if it's Mitchell, it's going to be a defensive player. I think that's what Arizona needs. I think they still believe in Kyler Murray. Why they believe in Kyler Murray, I don't know. Why they gave Kyler Murray that extension, I don't know. I think he should have played baseball. But I'm gonna mess things up a little bit and take your corner here.
Okay. So at 12, I have the Denver Broncos, and with the 12th pick, he's done falling. I'm gonna have him going wide receiver Romeo Odunze here.
Oh.
So
this could be a spot for Buffalo to call.
Well, they didn't call, unfortunately.
They didn't call this time.
They didn't call this time. So the reason why I have him going here is because they just traded away Jerry Jeudy.
Mm-hmm.
You really can't think of a wide receiver on their team.
Courtland Sutton,
but that's pretty much it.
He's the number 1.
Besides that, who do you have?
That's fair, but I don't know if they need to go receiver in the first round. This is a deep wide receiver class, and I think you might be able to get one in the second.
Yeah.
I think you might need to address something else here. I don't know what it would be, because I think the Denver Broncos, I mean, they showed resilience last year, honestly. Like, after starting off so horrible, they beat Buffalo and, kind of we're on the uptick for a while. Beat Patrick Mahomes for the first time as well.
You want to know what then? I'll switch it up then. First time ever on the Kellycast. We'll switch it up. Finally, he talked me out of it. For number 12, I'm going to have them going Terrion Arnold, cornerback out of Alabama.
Okay.
To pair with his other Alabama teammate, maybe once. They know different years, we know.
Pat Surtain?
With Pat Surtain on the opposite side.
Okay.
They do need to recreate that no-fly defense.
Okay.
And
I like that.
I think putting Arnold on the opposite side of Patrick Surtain is going to be good for them. Now they're rebuilding their secondary a little bit because with the loss of Justin Simmons, that's a good cornerstone. I mean, that's another boundary corner on the other side of Pat Surtain. Why not go Terrion Arnold here?
All right. So moving on to 13, which belongs to the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I want to ask you a question, Mitch, because we talked about the Bills possibly trading up at 9. I declined that offer because I thought the Bills were giving up too much. Obviously, in the Bears, if I was the Bears, I would have accepted, right? Because I'm winning the trade, at least in my mind. If instead of trading up to 9, you're trading up to 13 or 14, what changes in what you offer? Because it's only like a 4 or 5 pick difference, but that wide receiver is still on the board right now. Rome Odunze is still on the board right now. So does it cost nearly the amount that it would to move up to 9 to move up to 13 or 14 here?
No, it wouldn't. So this is probably where I would give you a call here. So, ring, 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 ring.
Hello, this is the Las Vegas Raiders, championship list since a long time.
This is Brandon Bean calling from the Buffalo Bills. I am willing to move up to 13 for this trade offer.
Let's hear it.
I will give you 28.
Okay.
I will give you a second rounder next year.
Okay.
And I will give you a 4 and a 5 and our 7th.
I think this is a fair offer for us. You got it.
You got yourself a deal. So with the 13th pick, the Buffalo Bills select Rome Odunze, Washington wide receiver.
Now, out of the 3, where is Odunze? Is he the third? Is he the third best here in this class? Would you still be happy with him if the Bills got him here in this draft?
I would be ecstatic if they got Odunze at 13. That would be a steal, I think, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because Odunze is obviously the third best. I think
is there a receiver after Odunze that is worth moving up for?
Yes, I think so.
Who is that?
His name is Brian Thomas Jr. My favorite.
I've heard a lot about Brian Thomas Jr.
My favorite prospect.
We'll get into Brian Thomas Jr. tomorrow. Let's keep this moving along here. The 14th pick belongs to the New Orleans Saints, and he's still on the board, so I'm just going to go with what we got here. No, I'm going to switch this up too. Fashanu's going to fall even more. I'm going to take Jared Verse, the edge out of Florida State. I think Cam Jordan's not getting any younger. His facial hair continues to get funnier, as we know from his team picture. But I think they need help on defense, so I'm going to address the edge spot and take Jared Verse out of Florida State. With our final pick today, please, if you guys enjoy, leave a like. If you disagree, leave a comment. Tell us what you think down in the comments below. I know Aaron will probably be on this video letting us know what he thinks, and I appreciate that. Still plans for you to get on the Kellycast very soon, my friend. But let's end this thing with 15 for you.
So with the 15th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Brian Thomas Jr.
Damn!
I'm going
so
to.
We got Odunze in this draft,
scenario.
So okay.
Yes.
So now, if this happens, right? The way that we have it mocked, which is not going to happen, 100%. We can clarify for you that will not happen.
No, mine's going to be better. So just to let you know, people know.
I'm sure you'll have an updated one before the draft. But if Odunze, if Brian Thomas, if Neighbors, if Harrison, if they're all gone, do you stay at 28 and let the chips fall where they do? Is there nobody after Brian Thomas?
Oh no, you still stay at 28.
You stay at 28. There still somebody left?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
I think someone is worthy. We'll get into it. Okay. We'll get into it tomorrow. But
tomorrow 28's going to belong to the Las Vegas Raiders.
That's true. But we'll get into it. We'll get into it with my mock when we switch off here and there with it. But there is one more person, but obviously he has a very good last name too.
Brian Thomas Jr. to the Colts.
Yes, makes sense. It does make sense.
Basically helping out Anthony Richardson in his second season.
And Michael Pittman, because you need someone opposite of him.
And they just gave him the extension, the 3-year extension. So
yep.
I'm not against it, but that's all we have for you guys for today. So we want to thank you once again for watching this video. If you were able to stick through almost half hour of it, but we had a blast doing it. I'm always happy to record with Mitch. It gives me more information because I know the NFL. I really do. I study it. I read all the news that comes out. It could be a backup. It could be a bench player. It could be anybody. I usually know about them. And Mitch is the same way about college football. So I'm very happy to get his insight. Thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
We do appreciate it. Sure you'll be back. for Dan, for Mitch. This is the Kellycast. Stay tuned for more. Myself and Mike will be back very shortly as well, so keep your eye out for that. Follow the Facebook at the Kellycast. YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Comment down below, and we'll be seeing you in the next one. Take it easy.